Hey everybody, I'm that girl Goddess. I want to say Merry Christmas again, but um, I'm gonna talk about the old people. There's two kind of old people, okay? And you want probably wondering, well, I'm gonna say three kind of old people. There's people that they're, let's say, 30 years old to about 50, not really old, middle age, basically. They're young, but they act old. They don't want to do nothing. They're not active. I know people that's in their 40s that wear adult underwear. Okay. And wasn't in a car accident or anything. They just that way. They swear them down. They can't hold it. They young, but they get drunk from the time they get up to the time they go to bed. And they really not functional. Only thing they can do is sit on that porch and get drunk. Then they got real fat. You know people, they supposed to be youthful. They 30, but they almost 600 pounds and they can barely walk, barely go anywhere. And that's an old young person. They got an old mindset. You know, don't want to do nothing. Just sit around and be miserable. That's another, I'm going to say, old young person. You know, I ain't talking about the people that people say they've been here before because they was born with some touch of wisdom. I'm talking about these young people that's just non-functional. You know, they don't want to do anything. You say, let's walk to the store. The store is right around the corner. You know I don't walk. They want to get in the car. You be like, no, ain't nobody finna ride a car right around the corner. Okay? And then you got the old people. Let's say both of them is 60 plus or 50. We're going to say 50 plus. We're going to deal with the ones in their 50. They on walkers, canes. They have no physical activity. They can't eat everything. They get sick. Okay? They literally get sick about everything. You ask them, they got this allergy, their knee hurt, and you look at them, okay, take a couple Advils or rub some kind of joint relief on your joints or something. Let's go. They can't walk nowhere. All they do is drunk, be high all day, eat, but their diet is limited, complain all day. Then you got the old people that's young, the young old people. And you say, what is the young old people? They be 50 plus, but they can get up and jog 2 miles every day. They're fully functional. They look good. You know, they full of life. They laugh. You know, you want to say, well, let's go bicycling. They willing, they game to go bicycling. They want to go to the park. They go to the club. They hang out. They dancing. You know, they keep up the latest dances. They dress decent. You know, you get these people, and I say like them old young people, they dress like Mr. Brown or 10 years ago. You know, tell everything come from the secondhand store. You be like, why? You can go to the $10 store, you know, and get something fashionably okay. Okay? They're not going to do that. You ask them, do they go out? They don't want to go nowhere. They got every excuse in the world. They can't dance, don't want to dance. All they want to do is just sit around and get out. That's them old young people. Then you got the old people. When I say the old people, you look at them and they're caregiver. And I trust me, I know I have been to people's houses as a visiting nurse, and they 35 years old. They don't do anything. House nasty, won't clean up. They assign people to come over to clean up. You got to remind medication. They don't nothing. They don't dress about nothing. They don't want to go nowhere. If you can get them to come sit on the front porch, you're doing real good. You know, I'm just talking about people who don't have a life, don't want to have a life. They don't enjoy nothing. You know, nothing. I mean, I consider you old when you don't want to comb your hair. You don't want to, when you say something like, have a backyard party, come in the backyard and play cards or something. They don't want to do that. They be like, nah, I pass. Y'all send me a plate. Okay, if you insist. If you insist. They don't like to do anything. They can half walk. I mean, when I say half walk, you could have went to school with them and you walking down the street and they barely making half steps on a walker, on a cane. And these people haven't been in no accident. You be like, why are you using a walker? Child, you know, I be getting tired. I have to stop. They not fat. They just in bad shape. They sit down, they need oxygen. You be like, something wrong with your lungs or something? What happened? You be trying, you be concerned. And you know they doing it for trying to get disability. But they tell you some of the crazy stuff about my asthma be having me woe out. I be tired. They be huffing and puffing and walk 1 block if they can walk 1 block. And then, like, when I lived up in Michigan, you see a lot of old people. And when I say 50 plus, 50 is not really old, 60, you know, I always tell people that's like 60 years old. You know, I'm like, okay, you can say they old, but it depends on the 60-year-old. If you still got a body, you weight, you know, lifting weights and everything, you dancing, doing the latest trends, you up, you can understand conversations, you're not old. Okay? You still have your memory, your laughter. But when I say old, they can't remember from today till yesterday. Okay? And they look good. They look good for their age. They look good. Okay? But you got, like I tell people, you got some young people. This girl was making a video talking about people. Talking about, she was talking about older people being jealous of her. She a young woman. She supposed to been about 29, 28. I forgot her age. But everybody commenting on the picture, we thought she was a senior citizen. We thought she was in her 60s. We was like, she have to be over 55. And they found out she wasn't. And I'm like, too young to be that miserable. And then they want to blame everybody. Everybody about everything. They don't want older women. Oh, you can't dress like this. When a person hit a certain age, they can dress the way they want to dress. Why? Because they earned the right to. But she was sitting around complaining because she talking about, oh, they went out, they wearing what, up-to-date clothes? Wasn't nothing exposed. She showed a woman, she wore a short skirt. It wasn't a micro mini. It was just a little bit. She could have wore that to the office. Okay? Nice top. She was just mad because the woman had a nice body. And I was like, okay. And she was a pretty woman. She looked good. And I was like, well, what's the problem? You know, what's the problem? She looked good. And they just, oh, you ain't supposed to wear a mini skirt. You get past and you let these women tell you 35 and under. And I tell them, I said, baby, when you hit 30, you consider middle age. But anyway, 35 and under, oh, you ain't supposed to dress sexy. You ain't supposed to have no body. They be looking at you, well, how you got a younger man? They act like your body, you can't be intimate. I tell you, as long as you have a physical body, you can be intimate with someone. There's nothing wrong with that. Age don't have no number. Marriage is and relationship is not based upon age. It's based upon love. If somebody want to be with you, they're going to be with you. And I just tell people, that's what I mean about the three types of old people. An old mindset. People have an arthritic mindset and they can be young. And I just tell people, if you live to be 30, figure out how you going to look 35. Because people tell you when you hit 30, baby, their hair can start thinning out. Them teeth can be falling out. You don't have that money and stuff. You can look bad. Okay? It may not be in your genes. And if you wasn't a good looking person to begin with, you can look bad as you age. But I'm not the person who talk about people looks like that, because I just tell people to each their own. I done seen, you can be unattractive, and if you keep yourself well groomed and you got a booming personality, people will love you. I'm not here to criticize stuff like that. I just look at people, it's the mindset that can be really, really unattractive, or people who don't want to maintain themselves. You can't, if you don't use it, you lose it. Okay? I done seen people in wheelchairs in their 30s because they too heavy, too much weight on their knees, and they can't do anything. And I just tell people, look, you got to get out here and exercise. You're going to have to eat right. You're going to have to leave all this food, and everybody been messed over by the government with the food and stuff. People have a false sense of what youth is. Because I'm like, okay, you looking at different entertainers, but they didn't have plastic surgery 3 and 4 times a year. That's not normal. That's why I tell people I don't compete with plastic surgery. Because you will soon find out. You can age so fast. You can live in a state and the sun is high and it's dry climate, and you more prone to wrinkles. Okay? You can have genes and or naturally dry skin complexion. You're more prone to wrinkles. You can have bad genetics and just break down. Life be lifing. It's not about putting somebody down. And then you want to try these new schoolers. I ain't heard of generation, but this new school. They try to limit what you can do if you get older. You get up and get to dancing, and if you can dance, they got a problem with that. I'm like, whoever heard of that? See, back in Michigan, you go to a club, everybody of all ages is in the club. It ain't the young people club. It's just the club. They went, hung out, had a good time, threw their birthday parties, whatever. But I tell a lot of people, a lot of us, as you get older, you can't go out all the time like you was younger, because you got to have a job. You got to get up in the morning. Okay? You got family and responsibility. But a lot of these people, when I say old young people, you meet somebody, they got a bunch of children. They can't go out. Okay? They can't buy the latest fads. I talk to a lot of people. Okay? Guess what? A lot of them won't buy themselves a Louis Vuitton. Shoes, purse, this, that, designer. And I ain't saying that all designer is all that and you should use it, just buy a whole bunch of stuff to try to act like you rich. Nah. But what I'm saying is, they young, but they can't afford it. So how they gonna laugh at somebody and all you see them in is a plain jogging suit, not no like Nike jogging suit or anything. Not that it has to be name brand, but they own something, and it's probably about 3 or 4 years, and they probably bought it secondhand. And there's nothing wrong with secondhand store, because I tell people, live within your means. And some things I'm not gonna buy brand new at no point of my age. Okay? It's like stuff Mr. Brown wear. It's a no for me. I met this man, and he's a nice man. And he was in his 70s. I mean, literally, he was 72. He on this outfit. And I walked around the corner. I seen him. I said, woo-wee. I said, you might as well just give me that outfit now. Like, let me put it in my closet. It was nice. When he got dressed and walked down the street, he dressed nice. And the lady was talking to him, and she was like 60, but he was like I said, 72. And she gonna tell him, you too old to be dressing like that. I said, dressing like what? I said, he looked good. He dressed nice. He kept himself well groomed. We all seen the Silver Fox crew, them older men. Oh my God, they be looking good. Okay? They be looking good. Not only they well groomed, oh my God, they know how to dress. And they can dance. Okay? That's my kind of peeps. And I just look at people, even when I was young, if you dress good, was well groomed, talk good, intelligent, treat people right, I tell a person in a minute, it's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to keep yourself up. Keep the zest for life, because God put breath in your body. Every day is supposed to be a day of celebration. But when you sit around, because I met some 16-year-olds, they'll tell you they ain't going to walk around the corner to the store. They be like, oh, I ain't walking. I don't do no walking. I be like, baby, you need to get out here. And I can say this personally because my sister, she'll tell you, she was in high school. She tell you she ain't walking no block. That wasn't going to happen. And I just tell people, you got to get up there and keep your body together. I don't care what age you is, all these stigmas and reasons to separate and not like people. When you get people with melanin saying they look better than Caucasian. I can show you a lot of Caucasians look young for their age, and I can show you a lot of people with melanin that look old for their age. And I can show you some that look young, no matter what culture they are. It ain't even about that. It's about a mindset too. When you can't enjoy people, you want to control people's lives. I tell people part of being young is not being controlling too. You live and let live. Because see, when you're young, you ain't concerned about this person down the street, what they doing and who they talking to. I remember when I was younger and I just see a lot of older women, they was talking to older guys. And I seen a lot of older, because trust me, I was there with the Aaliyah thing at Cash Tech. I know what was going on, okay? And trust me, those were older men with them young girls. And there's a lot of parents who they put their daughters off on older men. And there's a lot of girls that dress well in school. I was in a real popular crew because not only was I on the honor society, different clubs like mathematical club, science club, English club. I had all them merits in high school. But I played sports, track, volleyball, swimming, golf, all city, all state. I played sports. So very popular and everything. Went to a lot of game events for the male section, supporting them, fashionably straight, and I tell people just popular. And I was a quiet child. Even when I was popular, everybody would come over, and all the kids that thought they was somebody would come over, and I'll sit at anybody's table for lunch. Even the nerds table didn't make me no different. I wasn't like that. And I'd be chilling and everything. And I hear people get to talking about people, and I'm like, oh, no, they all right. And I'd tell these girls one day, we was in high school, I say, they don't buy their clothes. They can't regulate what they wear to school. Don't be like that. Stop bullying people. They didn't say too much to me because I had these hands. Okay, I'll pop off. But I was a good person. I seen some of the people get grown. They living their best life, look good. And then I seen some of the ones that was most popular was dressing good. They look bad. A lot of them strung out. Some of them popular girls I hung out with, before they got out of high school, they got pregnant, had 2 children. Now they sitting on the system, been on the system their whole life. Some of them dropped out of school. They just got addictions and stuff, boyfriends, DV. You feel bad for them. Tables can turn. As I tell people, you shouldn't always run your mouth and talk about people. You need to just enjoy living. It's a blessing to be around people that have life and zest, dreamers, go-getters. People that's off into their own zone and just living. Then people that's sitting around want to tear people down, beg, and I tell people, not only am I a go-getter, because I didn't finish a lot of educational programs and stuff, and I got my PhD and about 7 different fields up under my belt. Traveled a lot of countries and around the United States. Been married all through the ministry. And I tell people I didn't had my own businesses and stuff, and the best of cars to the junk of cars. Lived in some of the nicest neighborhoods. They ended up going down to some of the worst neighborhoods. And I just tell people, I still reach out and help people and be a blessing. Still believe in God and having hope for people. And been burnt sometimes, and sometimes I haven't been burnt. I ain't talking about STD wise. I'm talking about people treat you bad after you've been good to them. And move on. I don't carry it in my heart because God got them. God gonna deal with your enemies. Karma got everybody's address, and he know how to get them better than anybody. Yeah, I'm a fighter. You send that witchcraft, I'm gonna send it back, and trust me. And the way I send it, you gonna wish you ain't did that. But at the same time, I got a God that's on my side, who fights my battles. But when you get off into your prayer closet and war against that stuff, God honors those things. Want to know why? Because when he's fighting for you, you can't be sneaking behind, not behind like you're doing it behind God's back, but some people act like God don't see him. He know that you and him is in agreement, that you ain't liking it, you ain't playing no games with nobody. He got your back. He bringing you out. You ain't walking around trying to bring harm to people. That's another thing that ages people. Bring a lot of harm. People who try to control people, put them, I tell people that witchcraft and love spells. I tell people that is the most ridiculous thing in my life I heard of. Either you love somebody or you don't. What makes you a beautiful person and youthful in your heart is when you still believe in love. Yes, we have to set healthy boundaries, but you still have love in your heart. Your heart still jumps for joy. I seen this couple and she was 80 and he was 72. The one I talk real good. Well, he spiced that lady up and she was on a walker, but that was a feisty lady. I loved her. Oh my God, I loved her. She was Caucasian and he was African American. Beautiful couple. And they would go to this facility for them. It was like a it's not a rehab center, just a center that a lot of elderly people go to. Do their exercises and different things and, communicate, have different activities. But the lady threw a prom for them. When I say they look beautiful, she dressed up and we dressed her and I did her makeup and we curled her hair and they went on their prom. They look so good and they had so much fun. I look at people. I miss being in Michigan. We will have events like that. Go to the club and wear pajamas. And when we go to the club, everybody's going to wear pajamas that night. Or do we have another thing, besides the Halloween thing? We would just have fun. Go down there to the salsa club or go modeling. We'll model our different clothes on the boat and stuff and have different events and stuff. You go downtown, people having a concert and, you enjoying yourself, rolling at the roller skating rink. That's what keep you youthful. That's what keep you young, enjoying life. Well, that lady him went to that prom and she was dancing and he was dancing and, she showed me some dishes. She showed me how to cook some things, and she make a base to this soup that she was making. She was teaching me, and when I did it, the other lady with me, she was actually Afro-American. And she was talking about, oh, I ain't finna eat that. And I had to tell her, look, come here, taste this. And I'm gonna do it for you. And when she tasted it, I said, yeah, it's good, ain't it? And she's like, yeah, it is. Then she wanted to steal the woman's recipe. She wanted me to write it down, but she didn't want the woman to know that she enjoyed what she did, which I didn't write it down for. You know, I said, the woman, when I told her, I said, she has a very good established palate. I said, she know her seasonings, baby. And I said, and she can cook. You got to stop putting people down. But this woman is a woman who couldn't even boil rice. And it just amazes me when you get a lot of older people or young people, all they want to do is tear people down, tear people down. You know, I just tell people, I don't even like people like that. I talk back now. Now, you can say whatever you want to say about me. But that somebody came for me and talking about my lashes. I came for them. I went on their page. I said, you too ashamed to show your face. Cartoon character. I was like, don't come for me. I ain't trying to date you. Don't talk out of turn. You ain't got to say nothing. Because one thing about it, to each their own. Everybody don't have a lively personality. Everybody don't want to be a content creator like me. I'm doing what I want to do because I enjoy doing this. I'm learning along the way. Things I want to talk about. You know, I was working 2 jobs, but I calmed down. I said, right now, I'm going to cool off for a bit, and then 6 months later, I'm going to do 2 jobs. But like I tell everybody, especially if you're working all the time, you working so you can keep a roof over your head. These people who don't want to work and then talking about, oh, they shutting down Section 8. I said, okay, welcome to the real world, because I always lived in the real world when nobody giving me nothing. And I was buying houses and stuff. I done gave houses away, literally signed them away to people. I had vehicles. I would have 3, 4, 5 vehicles. I done gave away so many vehicles to people because they didn't have transportation. I remember it was an old couple. They couldn't even get transportation to come get them to take them to a hospital because she was obese. And I had an old school car. I didn't want to have the work did on it. I was like, oh, I'm tired of doing over cars and stuff, because I used to like to collect them and rebuild them and, just fix them up. And I gave her the car. She was talking to me. I said, She said, where you get that car from? I like that. I said, you know what? I don't even want it. I don't even like real long cars. It was a Lincoln Continental. I gave it to her. She said, for real, how much you'll charge me for it? You want to sell it? And I said, baby, I'm going to give it to you. And I walked over there, went and got the title and signed it over to her. I was like, I don't want it. So when people talk about me, I have blessed more than enough people. Not looking for no doggone reward. I tell people I did it because I didn't want it. Some people rather sell it to the junkyard than let somebody have it. It was already paid for. And then people wonder why I be blessed. I be blessed because I'm a blessing. That's why I'm blessed. I be good to people. And it amazes me the people that you good to who sit around and try to snake you. I be like, what? But I just thank God I have the blessing in my hand to be able to be a blessing to somebody. I was working this job. Y'all know I was an officer, and they did me so dirty. They was stalking me, different things. The female officer was so jealous of me. Why? They told me that everybody that sit there made my way as an officer extremely hard because I wouldn't abuse the inmates. All of them are gone. Terminated. I left it in God's hand. Karma, see them. They terminated. Some of them can't get their retirement. Some of them did. Just foul people in general. And that's why I'm telling people it's 3 type of old people out here. And then it's messy people, ugly people, hateful people. It doesn't matter who you hang out with, because I don't believe in age separation. I believe you go to the club like Michiganders, we go downtown, we just have a good time. We don't discriminate. We have fun. Y'all need to learn how to have fun, live, have life about yourselves. Start keeping up your body, because ain't nobody going to keep your body up. I didn't help people that they said couldn't walk, was paralyzed, they had contractures. I didn't stretch their muscles out, got them back up on their feet. Honest to God. Got them walking again. And I tell people had stroke, and I'm like, oh no, they just had a stroke. Doctors say they didn't have a stroke. I said they had a stroke. They can talk, they gonna talk, but they're answering you when they come out, seem like they just talking off in the air. I say in their mind they saying, answering you right then, but their response is slow. It's not signaling off in a timely manner, and they answering weeks later, and then they realize they off, and then they just stop talking. And I said, you keep talking to them. I said, I showed them how to massage them and how to work with those stroke victims and everything. And then people start answering them. I got a man right now, I wasn't even trying, just did a few of those techniques. Told his wife, I said, no, he had a stroke. I said, they lying, he had a stroke. I said, yeah, he got these problems, dementia, but guess what? He understands everything you said. She didn't believe me. 3 months later, she was like, hey. He was like, hi. She looked, almost fell into the floor. Okay. Kept walking, working with him. She took him to the doctor's man. He was like, okay, y'all have a nice day. He said, okay, you too. Started looking at you, was laughing and stuff. Responding, oh my God. When something crazy was happening on TV. And she looked over, I said, yeah, he's trying to respond. Y'all not talking to him. Then he get frustrated. Y'all started walking past him like he ain't talking to you, but he is. He needs the encouragement, you to respond to him. I said he can come out a lot of this. Yes, there was some damage, but you'll be surprised with how the human body can heal. And I started showing her some massage techniques. Okay. I showed him how he couldn't bend his back to sit straight. He laid down straight. He couldn't bend his back no more. I started stretching the muscles. He couldn't move his arms. They was up to us like this. And then I pulled him straight. I exercised him. I said, it's just like stretching muscles, slowly but surely. Not too much, one day at a time. He feeding himself. He grabbed a bottle out of my hand and put it up to his mouth with a straw. Put his mouth on the straw and started sucking it. Drinking out the straw. I mean, I just tell people, I said, y'all put limits on people. I said, but you'll be surprised what hope and determination can do. You got to transfer life, have that spirit of life and love, and live out here. And I done seen young people, like I say, in wheelchairs, had a stroke, high blood pressure to stroke level. They don't even be 30 years old. I go visit a woman. We worked at the same job place. She can barely move. I mean, she done sit there. She laid in that bed so long under depression. She literally cannot work her legs. They talking about taking her to therapy to get her together, and it hurt my heart. And I tell people, you gotta keep the life in you. Keep the life in you. Don't unnecessarily give up. I know this world be throwing some hard blows and stuff, but the key to life is also reading that Bible and lining your life up with that Bible. It will keep a lot of life in you. God will protect you in ways you can't even imagine. Life won't be so hard. Just because you under attack, and you probably like, well, you serve Jesus, you go under attack. Baby, I'm going to explain something to you. When the devil get through using you for that season, he going to attack you anyhow. Ain't nobody going to take up for you. You can see that in Hollywood. They biting one another. Used to be tight. You know, what's done in the dark always come to the light. You think they living happily? Just think about the stuff that they say they allegedly have to do to keep up that lifestyle. The devil don't give you nothing. It's God who make it rich and add no sorrow. Okay? So y'all have to just consider a lot of things. And I'm going to encourage people. Get out here and get to walking. Exercise. If you don't use them muscles, you'll lose them muscles. Yeah, I gotta lose some weight. I told people about my experience with cancer and everything, and I was in a car accident and I couldn't really walk. It took me a long time to get to walking again. And I tell people I had a neck and back injury. It caused me to lose a lot of memory, had amnesia. I regained all of that. Had a major stroke, heart attack. I'm up good, baby. I can run 2 miles. I can run just as good as a 20-year-old. For real, literally fast. Not a slow running. I'm a runner. Okay. I regained everything by the power of God, because I can't do nothing without God. And I can give him all glory, honor, and respect and praise. And I just tell people I came from some horrific things. I laid on the table. I was dead over 4 hours. I'm talking to y'all making videos right now. Yeah, I got up. I see the bags. I tell people, yeah, but you be dead 4 hours. You be surprised how your body will changes and go through. And your blood try to separate from the water. Okay, you be surprised. I said, and I got up, went home, and even my son, he took 2 bullets in the head, and God rose him up. He's good. He never stopped talking. He didn't die. They moved them bullets, and God kept him sitting there talking with plenty of sense. Then he realized he had a brush with death. And I tell people, he made me proud like the rest of my children made me proud. And I'm a proud mother. I tell people, oh, I ain't ashamed of this. I ain't ashamed of that. That's how I give my testimony on some things. I tell people I was at the jailhouse, but you know how that new girl move in the neighborhood and she the finest thing walking to the people in the neighborhood they trying to get her, or the new girl at school. That's who I was. Because all the inmates was like on me, but I let them know, look, no, I ain't about this. Y'all gonna do this and this. I was respectful to them. They was respectful to me. We get along. I seen some get out. They be, hey, officer such and such. I be like, hey, how you doing? They be chilling, talking. We cool. Okay? Treat people with respect. And that's how probably the females in the jailhouse got mad at me and came against me, set me up on a lot of things. They tried to set me up to even go in the pod to get hurt. They had someone with mental health, and he was crazy. He was finna fight everybody. They had me go into his cell. I went in there. I ended up telling some other guy on another shift, told him. Another girl complained about him. He went in that pod. They put him in mental health pod. I mean, I just tell people, and he was dangerous. The inmates was in there. When he came out on timeout, he was vicious and dangerous to them. And I had people set me up. But God don't like ugly. I didn't retaliate against some people, but God don't like ugly. You know? And that's why I be saying, it's 3 type of old people. It's old mindset, that old man, the devil in people, that mindset, just full of hate, don't want to do nothing, don't have no energy, scared to go anywhere because they did people so dirty. You know, I just tell people like, oh, you making videos? Yeah, I'm gonna make a videos to any age. Because I'm going to give out wisdom. I'm going to give out knowledge. I'm going to give out understanding. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this new generation. I talk about the old generation too. I told y'all, the people who raised us was horrible. What's your point? I have to examine myself. I talk about myself. That ain't nothing new. Your point is what? We not above being above reproach. We not above correction. We not above doing something a better way. Okay, we learn from each other. Yeah, I practice my articulation because of my accent. But I tell people I'm not ashamed of it. I can communicate. I remember a time I got down so bad, I couldn't even communicate. I can communicate now. I still have another day to practice and try and go to another level. And I'm not going to stop. And yeah, I attract lots of young men. And y'all point is what? A lot of good looking older women do. It's a lot of older women that don't look good and they attract them because they have a nice personality. People love peace. A lot of men is tired of raising somebody. She got 5, 6, 7 kids ungrateful, who have a sense of entitlement and talking about they young, but they done been, they body count is 500 people. They ashamed of that stuff now. First they was bragging about it because your body do tell. And these young men like, oh man, ain't nobody gonna wrestle with them. They let them guys do in and everything. Their body is whoa. And they can't afford plastic surgery. And sometimes the plastic surgery don't do that much good. Their body be so far gone. I'm just speaking on some things and telling them, let's take care of our bodies. Let's develop a better mindset and be full of life. Because that's the key to life, being full of life and love. Going out here living, still having hope. Not arthritic in your thinking, you're flexible. Now, some things you can't be flexible on, because I'm not flexible when you come to talk about my God. It's him. Jesus all the way. That's not going to change. Like I tell people, they was talking about doing a concert with Beyonce. I was trying to say, I don't want to be around nobody like her. I don't like demonic stuff. She can keep that. I tell people, I don't care who you say is fine. If they doing that demonic stuff, I don't want to be around them. Period. I don't want to be around people who sold they soul. That stuff ain't cool. I don't like to play with demons. God get to throwing lightning bolts. He ain't going to singe me because I ain't going to be around him. When I leave this world, my God going to tell me, well done. I'm sitting out in my car now, but he going to tell me, well done, for real. I'm not about foolishness. You know, I tell people, you don't have to have a lot of money. God knew when he created you that you was at the poverty level at some points in your life, and God still love you. If you can maintain your life, your bills get paid, you're still blessed. Okay? You have a roof over your head, food in your stomach. It may not be all the things you want to do. You can't eat steak every night, but if God made a way for you to get that meal that a lot of people can't afford, guess what? Praise him and keep living. Things change real fast. Things can change overnight to surprise you. And I just want everybody to know, go out here and live, enjoy life. Don't get caught up in all that witchcraft. Don't get caught up in trying to force someone to love you. Don't get discouraged because ain't nobody hit on you lately. That woman found love when I said the older man, she was 80 years old. And she looked at me, she said, I would have never thought God would bring true love to me at this age. And she wasn't the only one. Woman 77. One of them want to have a second, have a wedding. I mean, I just tell people it was a lot of seniors in there. And I mean, they was, when I say hooking up and helping each other along the way. I talked to one of them I used to work with today, and he was like, I really love that woman. He was a younger man, but he ended up having erectile dysfunction and everything. And he told me, he said, at first he was trying to treat the woman bad, but then he said, I realized something. Because she had like 22 years on him. He said, I realized something. He said, she was so good to me. He said, I'm making it a point now to go over there and visit her on holidays and whatever, and make sure she good, spend time with her. He said, because I love her. And I was like, that's right. That's right. And I was like, you sitting around trying to chase somebody because they young and they don't want you. You ain't benefiting. They ain't benefiting. I said, what's the point when you found your true love right there? I said, if she died tomorrow, at least you know you was loved. At least you was happy. You let people talk y'all out of y'all life. And I just tell people, y'all be talking about them people start living their best life. I tell people, whew, I ain't never had it like that. I always been like real popular. I came to this country, hit town. These people, the ones that would just sit around and be miserable, I just don't hang around them type of miserable folks. Because those same miserable folks are sitting there by themselves and they married to alcohol, witchcraft, depression, and disease, sicknesses. They have nothing going for them. They miserable. Me, I'm going to live my best life because God put breath in my body. I'm planning a trip next year to the Bahamas. Well, this summer coming up to the Bahamas. I'm planning 4 trips. And I'm finna go have me a ball. Okay? I'm gonna have me a ball. And I'm just gonna tell y'all hope to get old one day. Pray not to get old too soon. Find love, maturity, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Most of all, God, because he possesses all those things. And he can give you a joy that supersedes any understanding. Okay? He can give you a peace that supersedes any understanding. Okay? If you don't have peace, you don't have nothing. But sometimes to recognize and be grateful to God for peace, you have to have chaos. You have to know what misery is. And when you get it, you'll take care of it. You'll hold on to it. And that's where I was most of my life. I hold on to my peace. And y'all be saying, oh, she be smiling. I sure do. Because I'm blessed. I'm blessed. When I can take off and beat people 25 and under at a 2-mile run and couldn't walk so many years ago, I'm more than blessed. Okay? I'm more than blessed. I have a reason to praise God every day because I could be back where I was. And I always ran for God. So I'm not one of them people who say, whoo, that's when I turned to God. I always chose God because when I was 2 years old, they talking about the devil come to kill, steal, and destroy. I was like, I'm out. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I confess Christ. It wasn't for me. Nope. I think that's the stupidest thing in the world to want to serve the devil. I wouldn't want to do witchcraft and have to deal with the repercussions because there are repercussions behind witchcraft. I'd rather live in joy. I tell people I had opportunities. I had a billionaire. Sure as there's a God on my tail. I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. No, ma'am, no, sir. I'll stay broke. Knowing that God take care of all my needs, I'll be like, it ain't worth it. He offered them, allegedly human sacrifices. And I ain't talking about no Diddy or none of them. Okay, I'm just saying. He sell your soul, the devil gonna make you play his game. He adds sorrow. I didn't want the sorrow in my life. If somebody can't recognize God and give honor to him, I don't want to be a part of them. It ain't worth it. I don't care if they live in $1 million mansion. I done been in a mansion and it was haunted. Okay, and people run from it. Okay, I don't want all that. I just want what God, excuse me, has for me. I just want to be happy, healthy, in my right mind, have peace, can go out and enjoy myself among all people. I don't separate. I embrace people, and we're going to have a good time. But for those people that's witches, warlocks, and off on the devil's team, you can stay over there. I don't want your curses. I just pray you repent. That's how I bless you. I talk to you, I speak. Go ahead. Treat you the way I like to be treated and keep it moving. I ain't part of that. Even on YouTube, social media, trying to be a content creator. There's so many trials you go through. People make stuff so hard for you. But you know what? I thank God for this journey. Because part of this journey I'm on YouTube of being a content creator is going through the trials, going through the tribulations. You have a lot of hate. You have a lot of people, oh my God, cursing your page, trying to curse you. God enlightens you. He tell you, and then I read about them later, and I hear some of them locked up, some in jail, some unalive, and you don't have to do anything. Just knowing my God that has my back. You know, that's why you don't see me do a lot of videos on, oh, God gonna deal with them, which I'm gonna make that a video. I don't have to go through those changes, because if you knew God's word, you knew every word is true. And he do. He teaches us through those trials. He told us to think it not strange, and I don't think it's strange. He encouraged me to get on YouTube. He told me to make several pages. And I'm at a page where I'm just going to be cooking and doing, some of the fields I was in that I got paperwork in, like even doing hair. I'm going to teach you. Now, this is a new wig. They sent it to me on Temu. It didn't have no curls in it. I was layering it. And then I started doing housework, put a hat on, pulled the hat off and all that kind of stuff, and started to make my videos, Okay. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I did. Because I enjoy talking to y'all and I love doing this. And I thank God that I'm able to do this. Yes, I'm always going to keep another job. Okay, I do this because I love people. This is like having a friendship without people coming over to visit. Not that I don't have a problem with people coming over to visit, but it's like having someone you can talk to, your own tribe, that they can communicate with you and you communicate back. All them bad vibes and people want to come over and say something crazy, you don't have to say nothing at all. I appreciate you dropping by. Not because it was views, because then I may have gave you something to talk about and you can sit around and say, well, she thinks she know this, this, and this. That's cool too. That's cool too. Because I'm still doing what I enjoy to do. I'm still enjoying doing what I want to do. And I encourage other people. And when I finally get monetized in God's timing, I'm going to be even more happy. I'm not going to quit my day job. Things come and go. You can have the job, your dream job. You can get terminated, or the site can close down. Things can always get in the way of a job or a dream job. I just thank God every time I can get up here and do something I love doing and reach out and talk to people. Because, I'm going to make videos about hygiene. I'm going to make videos. You want to know why? Because there's a lot of people who was not raised. It's a lot of stuff that was not explained to a lot of people because I didn't have no one who raised me. Good. Thank God I got to read. Thank God that God sent people my way to teach me certain things. I remember I met this girl and she lived up the block and my parents wasn't home. And, I told you my parents was horrible, the people who raised me. But I went down there, down to her house, and she was getting ready to go somewhere. She had to go, I think it was to go to work or something. And she was telling me, she taught me how to wash up my body. And she said, girl, when she got a shower, she sat on the bed, she had her robe on and everything. She didn't try to do anything out of order. She was just a blessing. And she was telling me, she's like, yeah, it's very important that we shower and stuff. And she turned around, she said, you gotta oil our body down, keep it moisturized, keep your skin soft. And she was just doing it. She didn't show or expose her body to me. No, she was doing it. And when she was doing it, she say, I love spending time teaching, younger women different things like this. But I see you was locked out, but I got to do this anyway. But I always got to get it in and talk to people. And she was so pleasant. And I learned so much from her. And if I had waited on my people that's supposed to have raised me to tell me anything, because they didn't even believe in bathing and deodorant and none of that, but I always did. I went through puberty late, so I really didn't start getting funky under my arm. I was about 16 or 17 and it was barely there. I mean, after I had children, my husband told me, he said, we're going to do an experiment. And I couldn't wash my arms for 2 weeks. He said, until he get the smell, some kind of smell from my body. And I was laughed, but we did it. And he said it took me 2 weeks for me to get any type of smell up under my arm. And he turned around, he said, oh my God. He said, you blessed. And then we did a thing. We went another challenge, and you get to wash up with water only. Okay? On your armpits. Now the rest of you, I'm going to keep that clean anyway. I don't play like that. And we did that. I was going to the gym, everything else. Get out, go in the shower, And I was just like, would tell people like a little kid. I didn't get funky like that. And I tell people that was a blessing. But the people I raised, woo, they didn't get musty. They got musty. And they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in it. Hygiene. And I was able to teach my little sisters and stuff about hygiene and pass it on. And I'm going to do videos like that because even with me being a youth ministry and working with the youth, and I always chose teenagers. I chose the little kids too. They love me too. But I did a lot of the teenagers. And I would teach a class about cleanliness. I mean, that's things I desire to do and put it out there because somebody got to teach them. You want to know how these girls get out here? They don't know nothing about. They young. A lot of mothers put their teenage daughters out. If turn around when they start developing, talking about their man looking at them and everything, and they too ashamed to talk to nobody. They don't want to go to foster care. They be out here, get involved with people and don't know how to properly cleanse their body. I done seen some of them, and they felt okay to talk to me. And I was able to take them to the doctor, one of them free clinics, and let them get treated for, and they found out they had an STT, got the medication, got them proper treatment and stuff. I let a lot of teenagers stay in my household in the basement. Their moms and stuff put them out. Their moms knew they was there because I told them. With no kidnap, none of that. I just kept them off the street. One girl was pregnant and she went on top of a slide, and she had a cardboard box, but it was like had a bigger base size in the back. And that's where her and her baby was gonna sleep at night. And I turned around, and the park was across the street from me. I said, "Can you bring your butt over here?" They there with me. But I tell people, I'm still in their life to this day. Helped a lot of homeless youth on the streets of Detroit. Let them live in my household. And some of them came up. My son was hiding some of his friends in the basement. He didn't think I knew. I knew. I cook a lot of extra food. Say, okay, y'all gonna have to be greedy tonight. I knew they was down there. I didn't care. Made sure they ate, and one of the guys walked up. He said, I know I've been down here. I'm not gonna lie, I've been sleeping down here at your house in your basement. I said, I know. He said, I just want to thank you because I have nowhere to go. My mama got a boyfriend, put me out. He was 14. And I'm going to continue being me. And when God direct me, that's what I'm going to do. Y'all know I want to be a professional mother. I'm waiting on the system. I got all my paperwork in order. And I'm going to be blessed. I'm going to be blessed. I am blessed. Continue to walk there and be a blessing to people. And that's why I tell people it's two type of old people. I mean, three. I know young people can't help nobody. I know some old people, they always got an excuse. And some people, you fail to realize they just jealousy. And the jealousy has aged them, and their insecurity has aged them. Their demons have aged them. They don't like and love nobody. They just miserable. And they gang stalk you, send witchcraft your way because they're miserable. Okay? They play with the devil too long, bad attitudes too long. And it aged them horribly. I'm just saying, y'all be blessed. I'm that girl goddess. Like, share, and subscribe.